Assalamualaikum and welcome to Happy Fridays. So today I would like to share with all of you what is it like to be living in Singapore as a Muslimah and as a person who wears a hijab. So Alhamdulillah, in Singapore we have a lot of opportunities around, and Muslim Singaporeans have Arabic names like Fatima, Aisha, Laila and things like that, and we rarely have a really Malay names like 30 years ago, 40, 50 years ago, whereby it's like Betum, Dahlia, Rose and whatnot. Mostly is because of the influence of being a Muslim, and the Muslims immigrants came from Arab countries mostly, so that's why when they become Muslims, they adopt Muslims name. So Alhamdulillah, in Singapore we have a lot of opportunities around. Besides that, living in Singapore is our culture is more onto food and caring about food basically. So food is the main thing in Singapore, and Alhamdulillah that there's a lot of halal foods around in Singapore if to compare to other countries that Muslims are minorities. The halal food is very scarce and is very hard to find halal meat or even a halal restaurant even. So I guess in Singapore food is no problem. Most of the big and giant fast foods are halal, like McDonald's, KFC and things like that. Other than that, culturally, I guess most of Singaporeans do not think that hijab is like something that is a hindrance. They don't feel like it's an alien thing because they know that aunties or the ladies will be wearing tudung, and they won't question, oh they are Muslims, and they won't question so much. Only like some certain friends of mine who are not Muslim, and they ask like did that your husband asked you to wear a tudung? Then they asked me when I was 21 or something like that, are you married? Then I was like, no. Because I thought people who wear tudung is all the married ladies. I think that's the stereotypical Malay Muslims in Singapore, whereby they will wear their tudung. We call it tudung lah. We wear our hijab after they got married. I don't know why. It's kind of weird, but for me, because I wore it since I was young, so I don't know how to react to that also. And I guess another thing is that so for the hijab, basically is that you are most of the jobs are very open to wearing a hijab, like Body Shop, like Starbucks, like Uniqlo, all the big brands are accepting, except for uniform groups like the police, the government sector like the ICA, who else? The army and also the paramedics. Nurses also not allowed to wear the hijab. It's not really the hijab itself, it's like you have to wear the uniform, whereby it's a short sleeve and you have to abide to that. And besides that, I think some of the front lines are like in some hospitals or in airports, because they want to have that kind of look, that kind of wear makeup, that kind of representation, I guess. So they don't allow to wear hijab. Other than that, I guess we are okay with that. It's been a while since they have discussions and more discussions. People like keep on saying that why we are not allowed to wear hijab in Singapore as nurses, like doctors can wear hijab, but why the nurses cannot? You know, then they give us like weird reason, you know. And then like we compare to UK and I think Australia, whereby they allow nurses to wear hijab and long sleeve and things like that. Yeah, they give such reasons like, oh, this kind of contamination and things like that. And we were saying that isn't it even better when they wear hijab, that their hair won't go like around and things like that, and contamination towards the sick. Yeah, it's been a while since we keep on asking whether can or not, and whether we can wear the hijab. And I think that's about it. Oh, and also in the government school, because we have uniforms, they don't allow the students to tweak the uniforms to wear the hijab or to wear long skirts or to wear long sleeves. So most of the Muslims girls had to wear the uniforms with skirts and short sleeve shirts, and also without the hijab. In Singapore, there's only a few private schools. The madrasa itself, there's only 6, which by only 4 accepts secondary 1, and each cohort is given 200 students every single year. So imagine the spots are super small, and also to accept both male and female students in as well. So they had to give tests and I don't know, like go for tests, go for selections and things like that. As then when you get the results, whether you are accepted or not accepted, and if you're not accepted, then you have to go to the government school. In Singapore, education is compulsory. Everyone needs to be in primary 1, the basic one, I guess. Yeah, need to register in P1, every single of us. If not, it's like I think a big crime. Yeah, like parents are nullifying the education. But overall is that working life, on having to pray. We had to pray on our own timing, usually during lunch. So we will go for 1 hour break lunch, and then maybe you just spare another 10 more minutes to go and pray. We don't have designated areas to pray. Only certain places or certain work jobs, they have the designated area to pray, but most of us won't have a designated area, so we just either pray at the staircase or in our own cubicles. But praying at our own cubicle is very weird, because like everybody will be walking around that area and you want to pray, and yeah, it's kind of weird lah, in a way, in a sense. I mean, that's the thing between us Asians and also the Westerners, because I saw like Westerners, they can just pray at the park, they can just pray at the open area, the car park, and yeah, they can just stop and pray. But for us, we always want to find some secluded places to pray and things like that, which besides praying, fasting months, most jobs are understandable, and they give us allowance to go home earlier. Not all, because I have experienced that some jobs that they don't allow us to go home earlier. Like we usually, let's say for example, a 9 to 5 job. Okay, in Singapore, you start work at 8:30 and you end at 6. So in 6 to rush home and you cannot prepare anything, and sometimes you had to break fast inside the MRT or in the bus itself. And so if you had that at least 30 minutes earlier, you don't need to rush, and you can just have your own time and breakfast with your family members. Yeah, it's some of our bosses we will say that, oh, we are not consuming, we're not taking the lunch, so can we go home earlier and things like that. But yeah, with much compromisation, that's another thing that it is not that effective. Then I think the rest, like school events or job related events, they will work around the fasting months. But basically, if you have camps during fasting month and things like that, the teachers or the Malay Muslim teachers will help to sort it out for the food, for the breakfast and pre-dawn food and things like that. But it's up to you basically whether you want to fast or not during that time, and whether you're able. Because usually during those timings, I think the students like not, they will say, teacher, can I be excused for physical activities because we are fasting, we cannot run and it's very tiring. But it's just an excuse, because some of them, they are fasting but then they play soccer in like at 3 p.m. when the sun is super hot, and like after that you sweat a lot and things like that, and you just like, oh my god, I don't have energy left. These kids are so funny. Yeah, so basically that's all that I would like to share. Oh yeah, I would like to share one experience. I don't know whether is it a good experience or a bad experience. I would like to share an experience that I had when I was younger. At that moment of time, I was alone. I'm always alone, I think, in the bus, right? So I can't remember I was from where, but during that time, my uniform, we had this very long and big hijab, the ones like people go for prayer, for pilgrimage, those kind. Yeah, that is until your cufflinks area, yeah, until your wrist. So it's that long and it's white color. So the bus was quite full, but these boys, they are Chinese boys from government school. I think like 3 or 4 of them. They boarded bus and they were behind me. They were whispering and something like that. I don't know what their conversation are. And then suddenly one of them pulled my hijab until I had to go like that. But I didn't react to anything. I didn't say anything. I didn't turn to the person. I just kept quiet. Then they giggle and giggle. So then they tried to do the second time, but at that moment of time it wasn't that hard, so it was just a bit. And then I tried to like turn my head, but not looking at them, just turn a bit, that kind of thing. So they can't pull the hijab that fast enough, I guess. Yeah, and they keep on giggling. Then afterwards, for quite some time, then they suddenly become quiet, and I think because they see that I didn't react to it, I didn't do anything to it, and they just kept quiet and just let it go. Yeah, I think at that moment of time they still don't know, like, we are a madrasah student, and yeah, we are not, it is beyond their, maybe they don't have any friends or friends who are Muslims, and they are not exposed to people who are wearing hijab in that certain way. I mean, in Singapore we are wearing like colorful hijabs and like shawls and much shorter hijabs rather than the big ones. So the big ones are usually uniforms from schools, and I guess that they don't know that we are part of the private school that is recognized under the Ministry of Education. So yeah, the exposure about madrasah student is super legal, and even until now, after like almost 20 years I left no almost 10-15 years I left school, and they still like there's not much exposure about madrasah students. So yeah, I won't say that it's a harassment or it's a bad thing or it's just ignorant lah. It's just ignorant, like the people who are in the Western countries or like doing all this mocking and things like that and attacking ladies, because do you know, first of all is that they want to attack the ladies and they don't attack the men. Okay, and second, men don't wear the hijab. So yeah, that's the thing. It's the easy target to attack the ladies, right? Then they thought that we are clowns, and you know, they are part of their playful insights and things like that. But seriously, it's so funny that I wasn't angry at that moment of time, maybe because I was too naive. I was so young. I think I was within my 14 or 15 years old. So I didn't know much. I didn't know about Islamophobia or whatever during that time. It's only that this period of time where about all these things came out, and things like negativities and things like that came out. It's like kind of weird lah, in a sense. Yeah, so that's one of it, but the rest of it I do not have any other experience. Like in Singapore, people are okay to sit beside a hijab person. They don't feel that is like intruding or something that is very scary to them. No, it's not. I've been asked a lot from my friends who are like so close to me that they can ask me these kind of questions, because I think most of them they don't know, and they are scared to ask, like, why are you wearing this kind of thing, why are you wearing this sort, that sort, and things like that, you know. So the first question that they ask about is that, do you sleep with this? And I said no. I go back home, it's like you guys, you know, I take off my hijab and go shower and everything. Then I just wear my pajama and sleep, you know. Secondly, some of them asked me whether you go and shower with it, and I was like, no, this one is not my hair is inside. And thirdly, people ask me whether I am bald. I'm like, seriously people, I'm not bald, okay? I have hair inside, it's just that I cover my hair, that's all. Other than that, why do you have to cover up? Like, why you have to cover from your head to toe? You have to wear a long sleeve every single day. You have to wear long pants every day. Why can't you just wear a dress? You know, that kind of thing. Like dress without the pants. Because I keep on wearing tops that are basically dresses from like H&M or like from Cotton On and things like that, whereby the ladies don't need to wear pants. I don't know, so they can see their legs, but for us we wear it because we want to cover our aurat basically. So they ask why. So my reason being is very simple, is that because part of our religion is that the ladies have to cover up when they go out, so other men cannot see. Only our direct family members, like our father, grandfather, brothers, nephews, and husband, and your father-in-law can look at your hair and look at your aura and things like that. Then another question came in. Why do you wear your hijab and then the rest of them don't? Then I say that at first I didn't know how to answer. When I was younger, I was like saying that, oh, sometimes it is because of religious background and things like that, and then they say, oh, so you are more pious than the other person, and then I was like, no lah, I don't say like that. And but but as I am now, I am much more wiser. I know how to answer. It's more onto the background of the person, like their upbringing and their parents. If their parents don't wear their hijab, or their upbringing is that they never know about hijab and things like that, so they don't wear. And some of them, they don't wear because they say that they are not ready, because wearing a hijab is like they have to be prepared to bring the religion name, the Islam and the Muslim name throughout. If you don't wear a hijab, you can be any religion, you can be anybody, and it's not being judged, so called. I mean, basically for me is that the reason why I wear is because that God asked me to, and it is also my identity as a Muslim. I won't say that it is because that I want to look more pious. No, definitely not. It is just that one of the laws that God have given, and I'm just doing my right as a Muslim, that's all. And I love that my identity to wear a hijab, and it's been my identity to wear it since I was young. And like how you wear clothes and fashions and things like that is the same as how I am wearing my hijab. Like it's just a normal thing. It's nothing that is weird. One of my colleagues asked me, wow, I really salute you, you wear this and then you go for sports and things like that. How do you maintain everything? Well, actually, we all, like other people have bad hair day. We have bad hijab day. Sometimes your hijab is like creeps here and there. It doesn't want to stay. You lost your pins. That's the worst of all, like. But by the end of the day, if you're really, really serving God, like all the other things doesn't matter. I mean, like in Singapore, it's very hot. It's like all year round is summer plus rainy season. That can be any time of the day. It can be sunny, then suddenly it will rain, and it will be sunny again. The humidity is crazy, always around 100% or 99%. Yeah, but you have to find a very good material to wear and to be comfortable in, and to be who you are, and to portray yourself as a good Muslim. So yeah, that's for my sharing for this week. We will see you around next week, inshallah. Bye. Assalamualaikum.